Michael, I'm curious what the last 3 weeks have been like for you, and then what it's been like to just get back into the groove of things a little bit with the game this weekend, and just kind of how things have gone.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, it's obviously been kind of rough. Everybody wants to play. We've just kind of been battling with if we're going to play or not. Especially last week, getting halfway through the week and realizing we're not going to be able to play for the next 2 weeks. Definitely been kind of tough, but you just kind of got to roll with the punches and take whatever's coming and just move on. And at this point now, we're just getting ready for UCLA.
Trevor.
Hi, Michael. Good to see you. UCLA has obviously had a lot of success with its two backs this year, and then they've ranked pretty high in terms of rushing offense nationally. What are kind of the challenges you see going against their offensive line and stopping that rushing attack this weekend?
I mean, yeah, there's no doubt they're going to come out hot and heavy running the ball. They rushed for, I think, over like 240 yards last week. So there's no doubt they're going to run the ball. We just got to make sure we strap on our helmets and make sure everybody's got a mouthpiece because we're going to be hitting.
Oh.
So, Michael, I know for you, I know the sample size is kind of small, just one game, but how personally satisfied were you with your performance against USC?
I felt pretty good. I mean, obviously, there's always places to improve. So, I tried to leave everything out on the field, but, you go back, watch film, and get better the next week. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Jacob.
From a conditioning standpoint, what has it been like for you kind of getting back into the swing of things? Because Herm yesterday and then Zach Hill just now talked about how one of the bigger challenges for you guys has been getting back into that game shape from a conditioning standpoint. So how have you kind of approached that, and how has that gone so far?
Yeah, it's tough. You get 2 weeks off from football and there's not a lot of running involved. You just got to find the time outside on your own, whether that's running around the block or doing some push-ups in the living room. You got to find something just to keep that activity up and just kind of keep yourself in shape because it's tough.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael, obviously the first game, like you were saying, I mean, went pretty well for you. But when you talk, I was just asking Coach Hill about obviously like chemistry and I mean, yeah, practices and then you get to play a game. How do you feel? I know it's only been a few days of practice, but how do you feel the communication with the rest of the defensive line has been with you since you guys have been back in practice?
It's going really good. We definitely know that we're going to have to buckle down and stop the run this week. So the communication definitely has to be there, and it's going really good. We've been practicing since Friday and Saturday, so we've gotten a couple of days to adjust, get that 2-week funk out of our system, and now we're rolling. So it's going really good.
Yeah.
Can you talk about some of the things the coaches did to try to help you guys to get through this period, and especially what you guys were thinking when you found out that Herm and some of the other coaches had COVID?
Definitely a lot of Zoom calls. We wanted to make sure everybody was safe, everybody was staying healthy, and just taking that extra precaution. So we did a lot of Zoom calls, still going over all the defenses, going over all the plays. But it was more of like mental reps than anything. Physically, some of us could be out there, but mentally it was more just getting those reps, watching the film, talking it out over Zoom and stuff like that, so there wasn't any lapse in communication when it came to, the scheme and what we were doing.
Oh.
Michael, you mentioned the Zoom calls and going for the mental reps because you had such a long preseason and you did so many Zoom calls preparing for the season that way. Obviously, you didn't want this 3-week break, but did it kind of help really kind of going back to, familiar territory, if you will, doing mental reps through Zoom call, everything you did for the summer, even September, to do it now the last 3 weeks just to be mentally sharp for this game coming up?
Yeah, and I guess for me as a player, I learn a lot better when I can actually physically go out on the field. But yeah, we have been doing Zoom calls for the past couple of months and stuff like that, and eventually you kind of get used to it. But I definitely can attest that a lot of people would rather be on the field than watching it over on a screen. But being able to still watch that film and still get the reps in is still really good.
Alex?
Hey, Michael, I know you mentioned sort of running around the block and doing push-ups, but Was there any sort of specific regiment that, maybe Coach Connolly or whoever gave to you guys to stay in shape throughout the break here?
Yeah, there was definitely some lifting, a couple lifting sessions and stuff like that. So we had our lifting regimen still going on. So
Jacob,
Michael, what would you say the biggest challenge has been for you, over the last 3 weeks, whether that's mental, physical, excuse me, or then also with coming back, what would you say the biggest challenges are?
I guess for me, I guess we kind of touched on it earlier, is that communication. Only having one game under our belt and then missing the next 3 weeks before we play another game, you're going to have that lapse in communication. So that's really the biggest challenge for us, is just to come out, make sure everybody's sound and playing the same game.
Jeff,
How important is it for the players to finish this season despite everything that's happened? How much of a priority and how much does it mean to you guys to get these next 3 games in?
At the end of the day, we're all here to play football, and nobody wants to sit out and watch everybody else play. So it's definitely super important, and I know everybody wants to get back on the field, especially me.
Hey, Kyle, UCLA's got one of the more explosive backs in the conference in Felton, and then Brown's been a nice piece for them also. What stands out to you about their skill sets, and what's going to take from you guys as a defense to stop them?
Yeah, I think both of those guys are really skilled runners. We recognize that here. I think it's going to take a full defensive effort, 11 guys running to the ball, surrounding the ball at all times. And I think that's going to be a focus this week.
Hunter,
As a leader of the team, what has your role been like the past couple weeks, just trying to keep guys mood up and focused? And can you kind of just talk about just what your role has been the past couple weeks?
Yeah, I think it's just been keeping everyone focused. We still got games to play, games to win. So I think that's a big mindset on the team. We got to finish this season and show that we're a good football team. Unfortunately, things have happened with COVID-19, but we still got games to play and games to win. So that's the focus.
Jacob,
Hey, Kyle, what were the last 3 weeks like for you personally? What did you go through, and kind of describe for us the challenges of what that was like?
Yeah, with the building being shut down, just trying to stay focused on football. I'm trying to stay in shape. That's been, my main mentality. Like I said before, we still have games to finish. We still have games to win. So, keeping my mindset there and just making sure everyone on the team's fine. And that's the mindset of the team. That's been the main focus, the main goal.
Oh,
I know for you personally, it may have been really frustrating to be out for these 3 weeks. You finally get your first start as a Sun Devil, played a pretty good game against USC. When you look back at that game, which I know feels like a million years ago, how'd you feel about your performance again, your first time starting?
Yeah, obviously, the win is all that matters, and we fell short of that. But I believe that was a learning lesson for this team. Going forward, we'll learn how to finish. But wins all that matters in my eyes. So we didn't get the win, so it wasn't good enough, bottom line.
Jeff,
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how hard is it going to be to pick up where you left off, given the time in between games, and also the fact that you probably aren't going to have everybody out there that was playing against USC?
Yeah, with some time off, it's always difficult to pick right back up, but I feel like the whole team has stayed focused, stayed locked in. We realize, we still have season left. We still got games to show, what type of team we are. So I believe, we should pick up where we left off, truly.
Jacob,
Whether it's from a conditioning standpoint or from a communication standpoint, what have you noticed in terms of your teammates' abilities when they've come back, in terms of how they've looked on the field, maybe how they've handled the situation, just from your perspective? How's everybody handled this?
I think we've all handled it like professionals. That's the type of standard we've set here. Everyone act like a pro, be a pro. So I think everyone's handled it like a pro. And conditioning wise, communication wise, I think, we're right back where we were in the beginning.
Michael.
Yeah, Kyle, let's piggyback off that a little bit too. I mean, obviously chemistry comes and knowing where obviously calls and where guys are going to be comes with playing games. Yes, you get it in practice, but the game speed obviously being a little bit quicker. So do you feel, I mean, chemistry wise, you guys have picked up where you left off? And then secondly, obviously, I know you saw that, I mean, in your obviously time away, that unfortunately your alma mater in Saguaro had some cases and got shut down. Just your thoughts on that as well too.
Yeah, with the first question, I do believe we've left off where we were in the beginning. Just, we emphasize that in practice every day, treat it like a game every day. So I think with that mentality, that's the best you can do. And then secondly, with Saguaro's situation, I was heartbroken for those guys, truly. Probably some of the best memories of my life, at Saguaro. And it was sad to see the way that happened. But at the end of the day, it's about the safety of the players long term. And I'm just glad to hear that everyone's safe.
Couple more questions for Kyle. Jacob.
Kyle, what were some of the things that you did over the last 3 weeks to stay in shape physically? Was there stuff at home? Were you able to get into a gym? What did you do?
Just like the, prior breaks when we had COVID in the beginning, just, went on my runs, stayed active, worked on my stretching. Just the same thing as in the beginning. Just stayed working out every single day, treated it like I was still in the stadium. And that's really it.
Jeff.
So yeah, on that same line, was it almost easier this time around because of what you went through all the way through the summer and up until the beginning of training camp?
Absolutely, I think it was easier. It was more of like an expected thing. The beginning I think took everyone in the world off guard going in quarantine. This time, just going through all 2020, you never know what's going to happen, so you just stay ready at all times.
Jacob.
Kyle, Herm had mentioned that one of his biggest frustrations was that you guys were able to go basically 8 months without any serious COVID-related setbacks, and then once you finally got going with the season, it fit you guys. From your perspective, how tough was that reality, and how did you mentally handle that?
It was unfortunate. I felt like, the team, we were really focused, but like Coach Herm says, this virus is invisible. You can't see it. It's an invisible monster. There's really no way to see it coming. It is what it is. We're moving forward now, looking forward to finishing the season with some wins.